for a Tuesday after a 3-day weekend. Okay, so are we alive, excited, full of energy? Woohoo! Okay, rock on. How's everybody in Zoom land now that you can hear and see us?
Lovely.
Oh, Morris, let's hear you. Oh, you're muted. Okay, we can't.
Sorry about that.
Oh, there you are.
Doing
How
great.
you doing, Paul?
Hey, good to see you guys.
Good to see you too. All right, so I hope everyone had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, gave immense gratitude for all the freedoms that we have in the beautiful United States of America, right? Hell yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We are running a couple minutes behind, but we want to get going. Okay, so let me see, Fred. It's your turn for the motivational moment. Read it for all of us.
Success is no accident. It is a result of careful preparation, focused action, and unwavering perseverance.
Absolutely. Yeehaw. Okay, what does that mean to you?
You have to work on being successful. Nobody's going to just give it to you.
Yeah.
And you do have to do constant preparation. So and in the words of Gary Keller, you cannot chase two rabbits at once. Focus your attention.
Yep. It has to be. Yep. So thank you, Fred. Yeah, success is no accident. It's a result of careful preparation, focused action, and unwavering perseverance. It is day in, day out, right? Of just being intentional, being purposeful, having clarity, right? When we talk about careful preparation, your business plan, your goals, are you reviewing them consistently and adjusting where need be? Because the last thing you want to do is adjust any goals or actions that you need to take, the fourth quarter of the year, right? Because you want to continually be evaluating and figuring out what little adjustments and tweaks, this, that, and the other thing that are working and or not working. Okay, so wow, and Eddie Christer's here. Damn. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
here.
Eddie, come on.
Just for you, Steph. Good to see you all.
Come on. I want Alejandra. Come on down. Did we have Eddie and Paul? I'm like, what do you think? Here, Missy. Yeah, don't.
Thank you
Sit down.
so much for being here last minute. So, does everybody remember our awards day?
I know my daughter Bree was on.
Oh, yes. And then awards day, right? So the past 6 years, we all receive an award from our amazing team leader. Oh, don't cry. I'm not gonna cry. I won't make anyone cry. But the only person who truly deserves one and doesn't get one for the past 6 years is Stephanie. So, Paul and Eddie, please unmute your buttons and tell us and give us a few words regarding Stephanie.
Well, thanks for taking the initiative. It's super important to recognize people that make such a big difference in our lives. And Stephanie's really has been and continues to be the backbone and vitality person on the ground for our office. It's interesting that you guys picked the motivational moment that you did, because it applies so well to Stephanie, and that is that these the things that we do in real estate and in brokerage and leadership are not, they're not one-hit wonders. You know, you get the one big listing, that's great. Career is not changed by that. It's the activities that you do around it. And the same thing with the office, and Stephanie's perseverance and resilience are never more important than right now. When markets are weird and competitive forces are weird. It's such a changing, real estate is changing with AI, with the NAR thing, and to have somebody at the helm who is very steady and is someone who gives us energy. It's a great single question about a leader. Do they give you energy? Do they take energy away? And there's no doubt, on a good day, on a bad day, on any day, Stephanie is giving us energy, and that is critically important to everyone, and especially in this industry where we're all independent contractors and on our own. And the more you plug in, you know, I really don't see Stephanie having a bad day, even though I know she has bad days, just like the rest of us. So with that, yeah, so with that, you know, just extend incredible gratitude for your leadership and resilience and perseverance, and knowing that the there's great light at the end of every tunnel. And we're in a, you know, we're in a weird market, weird competitive environment, and real estate itself can be challenging right now. And now's when, more than ever, we need someone like Stephanie who is there and has been there, you know, for her agents for so long and so consistently. So kudos to Stephanie. Thank you very much, and really, really appreciate your leadership and partnership.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that.
Eddie.
Yeah, I mean, Paul said it really well. I wanted to just, you know, add in that Stephanie came on board during a very volatile time in the real estate market. We hit the pandemic right after she came on board. She helped usher us through the pandemic. You know, the fact that a leader needs to be resilient and move with the times and change with the times, and really usher us through what can be ups and downs in our career, in our lives, and in the real estate market and everything else. What better person than Stephanie, who is always, you know, bouncing back from adversity in different aspects of not just, you know, not just in business, but also in her life. And so she's been an incredible source of motivation and inspiration. She's sort of a light to all of us when we, you know, you walk in the office and Stephanie just sort of is larger than life, and endlessly motivates us, and endlessly motivates me. So, you know, I really appreciate that and respect that. You know, we've moved office space during her tenure. She has led us through this downturn. And all I can say is that I would want nobody else at the helm. And if I, if I were an agent, I would want no one else leading me and being somebody I can look up to. So I cannot tell you how much we appreciate Stephanie's work and love what she's done. I think I'd speak for most of us in saying that we are grateful to be in business and partnership with you, Stephanie, and we look forward to many, many more years of that. So thank you.
Thank you, Eddie and Paul. Thank you so much for squeezing us in, even though, you know, last minute, 8 o'clock. So, from our amazing AOC, just a few words because, you know, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Alan, you go first.
Well, I've been in ALC a long time, and Stephanie has really kept pushing the line further and further out, so pushing us to do better and try to help our office community. And terrific manager, and I've had a lot of them. She's been really good at this, and just happy to be here to help celebrate her achievements and our office.
Oh,
Thank you.
I mean, everybody knows, you know, I'm friends with Stephanie. She's amazing. You've definitely made me grow in the last 6 years that we've known each other, and I appreciate everything you've done for me. And thank you for being like the best manager ever.
Thank you.
I liked what Paul said about the energy, you know, you give energy, you don't take it, and that's a critical component, especially in this business. So I appreciate that, thank you.
Thank you.
Any words?
I think she's been a great sounding board for us, and she's on board with us to help make us successful, and we just appreciate her commitment to us as well.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Great.
Oh, I work closely with Stephanie, as you guys know, and I appreciate having a manager to look up to and the close relationship we have, so thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You're not gonna talk. Yeah, I really appreciate you. You know, I show up for the mindset, and you, what Paul said, definitely nailed it. You motivate us, you push us, even when we don't respond back. We're listening. We're like, oh, she got us again. So, but thank you so much for all you do, and I'm so honored to be on ALC and serving alongside you, and you deserve this. And so we're just so happy and want to celebrate you. Always celebrate everyone else. So,
Yeah, well, thank you.
Thank you. Chris,
Thank you so
you
much.
got the last word, but short and sweet. Chris, short and sweet.
Yeah, I'll only go about 20 minutes.
It's pretty short read.
So, you know, here's the deal. So I feel like a very proud younger brother right now, Steph. You and I met in 1998, and you were a brand new agent. And one thing I knew when I sat down with you that day in the conference room, I could not wait to be in business with you, because you just exuded winner, tenacity, energy, a lot of things that people say. And I agree with Paul that the quote that ironically came up today with that last word. So for 27 years between agent production, doing everything you've done in leadership, what those of you in the room will never really realize when you use the word perseverance with Stephanie, it's not just the perseverance. It's how long she's persevered. And the last thing I'll say, because I do have the good fortune of having a lot of conversations with her behind the scenes about a myriad of topics about all of you in situations. But I got to tell you, you know, it's one thing to go to battle with somebody who's like, yeah, I'd like to win this battle. It's another thing to go to battle with somebody who really deep within them, she wants to win this more than probably anybody in the room. And so I'm actually just going to ask you to just continue to support her. As you know, the arrows from the competitors are flying left and right, and this and that and the other thing. Defend her honor, defend her integrity, defend her perseverance, and go out and just kick some tail in spite of everything. So congrats, Steph, and love you bunches.
Wow, well said, and thank you.
To the office, and Paul and Eddie, we're gonna read you what's on the award. So the award is called Leadership Legacy Award. So I'm gonna try not to cry, don't cry.
This is crazy.
This award honors an exceptional real estate team leader who exemplifies outstanding leadership, vision, and dedication. Through unwavering support strategic guidance, and a commitment to excellence, this leader has inspired her team to reach new heights in performance and collaboration. Her ability to cultivate talent, foster a positive team culture, and consistently deliver results sets the gold standard for leadership in the real estate industry. So Stephanie Alatorre, we present you the Leadership Legacy Award.
Hey, bravo.
You know, I don't get surprised very often, right? Fucking blowing my. And I'm just like, what the hell? Right? Never on my team meetings. I'm like,
You're not that big of a.
I know. So I'm gonna give all hugs. I'm gonna try not to pass out. And my kids are on here too. It's like crazy. So one, I'm shocked, right? I'm just shocked and deeply touched. And I'm sure the speakers are like, I need to be out of here in 10 minutes. It's my time. Sorry. I don't even know what to say, but other than, you know, when we talk about energy and Paul brought up energy, everybody brought up the energy, right? It all works. It reciprocates, right? Yeah, there's sometimes when I want to choke y'all, right? Sometimes, right? But I am so passionate about your success. I'm so passionate about your individual success, about our success collectively. And, you know, just the whole thing. I mean, this Calabasas office is so flippin' special. And we set the standard in real estate. It is a privilege to be amongst each and every one of you. It's a privilege to be here because we have such high standards and we are passionate about each other. We're passionate about the success. We're passionate about this industry. We're passionate about our lives. And we, like I said, we all feed off one another. I can't ask for a better group of people to be in business with, from, you know, Paul and Eddie, from Chris and everybody. I mean, it's just so wild how things come full circle. I mean, he was my original mentor when I first got into the business. And now he's here as our consulting and coaching broker and going through all these things, right?
It's still mentoring you.
It's still mentoring. I mean, just to have the people to be able to call upon each and every one of you, right? Hey, how can we do this? How can we do this? Yeah, do I get passionate about stuff? Absolutely, because I want each and every one of you to be your absolute flippin' best, right? There are no seconds here. You are all number one. We're all imperfectly perfect. Sometimes the challenges that we go through together are painful, right? May not be so fun. I had a very fun conversation this weekend with an agent. She was not happy with me, but at the end of the day, she knew I wanted her to be the best, right? So sometimes, including me, we all have to hear things that we may not want to hear. But everything that we do in this Calabasas office is out of love. It's out of love. It's out of respect. It's out of passion. It's out of gratitude. And I'm just thankful for each and every one of you. And I don't even know what to say. I'm like blown away, and I'm blessed with this amazing ALC. I mean, we have been friends. I've watched the growth of each and every one of you. And we've gone through some hard times. We've gone through some fun times, just everything. So from the bottom of my heart, you know, like I always say, I said I have two families, right? I have my kids, right? And then I have all of you, right? And I love each and every one of you. So thank you again for this mind-blowing surprise.
Thank you, Stephanie. Really, we really appreciate it and well deserved.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Hey, you guys, later before I hug you. Mwah.
Aw,
Oh, thank you so much. Thank
thank you,
you.
Stephanie.
Are you just gonna hold it during the meeting?
Wow, okay.
I don't know if I was muted, but I said thank you very much and well deserved. But
Thank
maybe I
you.
wasn't.
We
Okay.
heard you, Paul. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
That's
There it
beautiful.
is. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Ed, for the opportunity. I never call you Ed. Eddie.
I'll take it.
Yeah, thank you for your trust in me and believing in me and allowing me to be at the helm and all the opportunities. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Absolutely.
Well
And
deserved.
and I want to just acknowledge, like, Stephanie has an amazing team around her, and the staff, and Luisa and Alejandra and everybody, the ALC, all of you really do support
Debbie, Ashley,
Debbie and
yes.
Ashley,
everyone.
absolutely. Support not just her, but the office as well, and make this all possible, and allow Stephanie to shine. And so we acknowledge all of you and appreciate all of you as well.
Yeah, awesome. We couldn't do it. No one can do it alone, right? We're all in this together, so just remember that. All right, thank you, everybody. Should we move on?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, have a great day, guys.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Good seeing all of you.
Okay, awesome. So okay, let me just okay, great. All right, so we have two speakers. One is gonna be just real quick, about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna go into our main. So Igor from Spectrum has great incentive out here. He's gonna come speak with you. He brought us donuts, and then Main Street is our big sponsor. They brought Mendocino Farms and all the yummy good stuff. So they'll be chatting here shortly. So Igor, come on up.
Thank you. How do I even follow that? I mean, that work presentation, that motion, that's so great. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I almost feel like praising you as well. But thank you very much for letting me speak.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I want to come here because I'm on the Spectrum business side. I'm not here to sell anything. I'm not here to sell internet, phone, voice, or any of that. One thing that we're having right now is we have an agent referral program right now, where if you sign up for our referral program and you recommend me an account and I sign them up, you get paid. For example, like if, let's say you refer me a client that you're working with and I sign them up for, let's say $500 a month, you get paid $500, up to $5,000 per deal. So some of our agents, referral partners are making a couple of $1,000s a month, every month, and just like constantly cranking it. This can also be help in terms of giving a customer an incentive. Let's say if you're working with a customer like a small mom and pop business, who every single penny absolutely matters to them, and you're trying to push them over the line to get that lease signed or that purchase that property. Offer them to pay 1 month of Spectrum for free for them, because you know what, you'll get that money right back. You'll get it paid as soon as I sign them up. So it's a good incentive. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually leave some of the flyers that are up here. Stephanie can potentially forward all of those flyers and my business card as well. And this way, if you have any questions, want to learn more about the program, I will be glad to help out. And please also help yourself to donuts. And obviously think about this, because that's extra money, especially as we know in the current times in the real estate market, up and down. And I am familiar. I was with CoStar for a very long time, so I do know the market's different.
Yeah.
So I will just leave that, and that's really it. I wasn't
Awesome.
gonna take too much of your time.
Yeah, of course. All right, perfect. Any questions for Igor? No? All right, perfect. Thank you so much. And feel free to, stay, and then you can mingle after if you want.
Sure.
You have my own service and
Unfortunately, not. This is more on a commercial side. We're talking about like office or anything like it. Not residential. They're right there. I'm not just-
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, as you all know, we have an investment network that's teaching a class after. So I'm gonna put this QR code up at the end as well, but there is attendance meeting for a chance to win 10,000. So if you want to scan that real quick, you can. And then, like I said, I will have it up at the end of the team meeting as well. Okay, so I want to welcome to the Keller Williams Calabasas family, Shahar. Woo! Shahar, Jocelyn James came back as referral agent, Maya, and Hussein. Yes, I pronounced it okay. I'm always not good. Okay, so congratulations, welcome. Okay, we have Chris Vogt here, has a quick few things, and then we'll get right into Main Street Mortgage.
Yeah, I only have really one or two quick things. First thing is this. our industry still lacks fundamental understanding of the real estate purchase contracts and all matters relating to it. He said, not joking. So that is why literally every Monday and Tuesday, with some exception, from 1 to 2:30, I'm training on RPA, buyer broker, residential listing agreement, landlord tenant stuff. Okay. Because as we're having this conversation today, the reality of it is in 2025, the average residential real estate agent in California just does not understand the documents that they're asking their clients to sign. And literally, I'm proving that fact every day when my phone rings and an agent asks me a question. Stephanie and I were on with somebody this morning, an experienced agent who was asking questions, and I candidly was a little bit in disbelief about the fact that I was talking to an experienced agent. So whether you're new, this isn't just for new, by the way. This is new, middle, old, I don't care, because the more you understand the forms and the paperwork, the better you can sit before a consumer and not only ask for the order, but ask for the order at a higher commission rate. So just a reminder that 1 to 2, I go 1 to 2 and then Q&A thereafter. And today, by the way, and Thursday is buyer representation agreements, which we are still struggling with as an industry, either incomplete, improper, not explained to the customer correctly, not translating it correctly when we ultimately go to write an offer for the property, the sequencing of the agency disclosure, so on and so forth. So I know we're short on time, so that's all I got for today. And I'll give it back to you, Steph.
All right, thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate you, and thank you again for the amazing words.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you immensely. Okay, awesome. So yes, please, when Chris does his classes on, I don't care whether you think you know it all, we all don't know it all. Do you know how many times I've been in the business for what, how many ever years, right? I'm now almost 27. Okay.
27 in September.
I know, it's so crazy. Okay. Like sometimes I'm like, you know, like when I call Chris this morning, I'm Chris, like, blah, blah, you know, we still go everything. So please, and sometimes like we talk about the biggest offenders of just blowing it all the time are the people that have been in the business for a long time. Okay, so just so please, and then also every Friday at 8 a.m. there's broker Q&A with Chris. He gives his time to answer any and all questions, and then he gives updates, so on and so forth. So the availability to massive knowledge and information is there for you to be a better real estate professional. Because the shadizzle that I'm seeing out there right now is mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Right? So we have to be on top of our game. We have to force other agents to be on top of their game as well, right? And always look out for the client's best interest. All right, here we go. Don and JoJo, Main Street Mortgage, let's take it away.
Well, that was a great morning. Congratulations, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Really exciting. All right, so today, JoJo and I are here, and we're going to give you what we do more by a fire hose than little by little. So this is going to be kind of a lot to go through. So we're not going to go through all of it. We'll skip some of the slides, but there are some things that are really important for you to know about. So if I were to ask you, what are the biggest objections that you have right now? What would they be? What do you think those are?
Interest rates,
Interest rates? Anyone else?
down payments.
Down payments? All right. What else? There'll be more than that.
Affordability.
Affordability?
Closing costs.
Closing costs? Okay.
They don't want to buy at the top of the market.
They don't want to buy at the top of the market. That's exactly right. That's really a big one. Excellent. All right. So the main thing that we're about is that we all go out and we all get deals. What our purpose today is to give you some ammunition so that you can get the deals that normally you would not get. See, anybody can get the easy deals, but it's the deals where it's a little bit hidden. There's some crust on it. There might be some little green slime on it. you know, there might be something that's not quite right, right? But when you break it all down and you begin to really clean it up, there's a deal there. And so our purpose is to give you enough information to just simply want to say to your clients, what are the possibilities? Because there are so many possibilities out there. A lot of times, even in my work, even what we do is sometimes we don't explore all the options. I'll give you an example. I think I may have said this last time, but it's such a really important. We get calls all the time from people who call up and say, I was looking at a house this weekend. We know we can't afford it. They always start out by saying, we know we can't afford it, right? But then I say, okay, well, let's take a look at it and see what goes on. And 70% of the time, they qualify. Within 10 minutes, I tell them, you know, you're qualified to buy this home. And they say things like, I would have never thought. Some of them make, I mean, you know, I even had one couple that said, I didn't know if we made enough money or not. And it turned out they're making $250,000 a year as a couple. Well, that's quite enough to be able to buy a home somewhere on the range. And so there's a lot of opportunity. So let's go into it. Jojo, let's start with, okay, so the first one is to always ask the question, I am curious. And I love kind of hard to see that, but basically what it says is, I'm curious if there's something that you could change about your home, what would it be? That's a great question as an introduction. If they're currently own their home, or even if they're renting, what is it that if you could change anything at all on your home, what would it be? And, you know, and then listen and see what comes out of that. It might be something where you can refer them to a contractor to do an addition. But a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, the low-hanging fruit is the fruit that we don't see. And that is for people who need to make a change, but they're afraid to do it and they don't know that they can. So always the question is, what are the possibilities? Okay, go on. Okay. And then also ask them, what are your dreams? What is it that you want to accomplish? What's important to you? Okay, let's keep going. All right, so there's a lot of different financing. You're gonna go through this quickly. Okay. In Los Angeles, you might know that the top loan amount is 1.2 million bucks. Can't see that, I'll tell you what it is. So a conforming loan amount is 1.2 million. That means that somebody can actually put down 5% and they can buy a home for about $1.273 million at 5% down. Right? Ventura County, it's a little bit less. So here's an example. Loan is $1,209,000 in LA County, 5% down. Purchase price would be $1.273 million at simply a small down payment. Does anybody know that you can buy that much with a 5% down payment? That's pretty amazing, right? It's amazing what can happen. Okay. Now this one is really interesting. Go back. This one is on.
Go back, John?
Yeah, go back. Yeah, there you go. One more. One more. No, go back. Go back.
Backwards or forward?
Backwards. Where's it? Okay, all right. So in Los Angeles County, I didn't know if you were aware of this or not, but you might be interested to know that a 2-unit property is a loan amount, conforming loan of $1,032,000. Did you know that with these loans, if it's a duplex, they can put down 5% and count the rent from the other unit? 5%, that's a brand new change with Fannie Mae. You can actually buy a duplex with a loan amount as high as $1,032,000. If it's a 3-unit, it's 1.2 million. If it's a 4-unit, it's 1.5 million. You can actually buy the units with 5% down, and you can count the rent from the other units towards qualifying for a property.
Does that increase the interest rate?
No. No, the interest rates are basically the same as conventional rate pricing. Now, what's really interesting is if you go to the high balance loan amount, this figure right here is 2.3 million. And all you gotta do is put down 20%. So I mean, this is amazing. It's amazing to be able to say, okay, I'm gonna buy a duplex or a triplex. I'm gonna be able to count the income that comes from that rent to qualify to buy the home. And that is a really big deal. That's a current change that's brand new. Oh, by the way, one other thing, on construction financing, we do construction, fix and flip, we do everything under the sun. We're working on a hotel deal right now that's $120 million. So we do commercial financing quite a bit, so we can help you with that as well. So if you have people that are investors, we do that all day long. Okay, go ahead. All right, the next one, most of these, we're gonna blow through them pretty quick. Also, there's available 100% financing, high debt to income ratios. With FHA financing, you know, you can go up to high debt to income ratios, and you don't have to have great credit. So there's a lot of things that you can do, a lot of things that fall in between the cracks that you don't normally think about. So it's really easy to say somebody, well, they don't qualify. One of the biggest mistakes that lenders make right now, bar none, it's not the ability that people can't qualify, it's that the lender doesn't spend enough time to make it see how it can work. Right? Because if you really look at it, it can happen. Okay, keep going. Okay, self-employed, everybody knows that. I mean, you can do bank statements, right? We do, it's amazing what you can do as far as the income. We had a guy come in, he showed maybe $120,000 in income. His bank statement showed $35,000 a month. I mean, and that's what we use to qualify. So, you know, I mean, you can really do some very ethically creative financing that can get your clients over the hump. This one client that we had, she came in and she said, my property's $1 million I want to buy. Can we afford it? Can we qualify? And I told her after I looked at her income documentation, absolutely not. But we ought to try. And so the first program we put her on was bank statement programs. And then she came back and refinanced in conventional financing. And she got the property though. We were just talking today, when is the best time to buy a property? Well, it's 5 years ago. When's the next best time to buy a property? Right now, today, right? Okay, so there's a lot of nuances of working with self-employed individuals. We do that all day long. We're really good at it. And there's some very creative things that you can do to make it work for them. Okay, now we're not going to go through all of these, but I just want to make sure that there's an understanding that there's down payment assistance. There's counting RSUs, which is restricted stock units as income. There are loan amounts up to $10 million. I mean, there are so many possibilities that people can use for income, but they don't really look at it. And so what we do at Main Street is really try to do that. Okay, let's go next. Same thing. I mean, you know, we have loans with no credit score. Right now, we're doing a loan for a doctor and his wife. They wanted to buy something for, I think it was $1.7 million. And did you know today that there are still no ratio loans? Did you know that? No income required. What's that?
For the doctors?
Well, it's for doctors and it's for anybody else as well. You can actually get a no ratio loan. Remember those stated income loans we used to have?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, today it's the same thing, except that it has to have a year's worth of payments in the bank. And so for somebody who is well off but can't document their income and they have money in the bank, it is a lifesaver. They're buying this home for $1.7 million. And because her income is the income we had to use, his credit was not very good. So he used, but she didn't have enough income, but they had loads of money because he was a husband, but didn't have the credit. It didn't make sense. So we did a no ratio loan. The rate is higher when you do that. No income documentation on the application at all. No employment, no employer on the application, nothing except for the cash reserves that were required. And the beautiful thing about that is it's a program that requires, it's a lot of makes sense, but you can do that based on the fact that it's responsible lending. They can say, okay. And so I talked to them, I said, can you make the payments? Are these payments something that you can make for the next 12 months? They said, no problem. So that was a deal that came about that normally would not have happened. Does that make sense?
How many % down payments required?
In that particular program, you can put as little as 20% down. Good question.
What do you have for first-time home buyers?
All right, I'll share that in just a minute. We'll do that. Hopefully we'll get to that. Okay, go ahead. Keep going back.
Back and forth.
Back. Okay, here we go. All right, so we got Mark. Now, this is another way of some creative financing. Mark wanted a loan of $1.5 million. I'm gonna ask you a question here. He owns a rental property worth $2.5 million. And he owes on that rental property $500,000. All right. So he wants 1.5 million against the house. It's an investment property. He rents it. He has a $500,000 loan on it. So how much is the total loans between the two? $2 million, right? 1.5 plus 500,000, right? The value of the property is $2.5 million. If the total loan amount is $2 million and the value is 2.5, the loan to value is 80%. Now remember, he could not qualify. We couldn't use normal financing. We had to go to private placement to do this. Would Mark be able to qualify for the property? No, he doesn't qualify for the property because there's not enough equity. So then I asked some more questions and I said, well, Mark, his name is a little bit different, but I said, Mark, do you have any other properties? And he said, yes. And so when he said yes to that, then we said, oh, very interesting. So now we have property number 1, we're 2.2, property number 2, we're 2.5. The total is 4.7. And each of these properties had an existing loan for 500,000. So he owned $1 million. So what we did was we do what's called cross collateralization, where we take both properties and we put them together as if they were one. So now what we have is we have a total value of 4.7. We needed a total loan amount of 2.5, and he qualifies because the loan to value had to be about 60 to 65%. And now that's a little bit hard that you got to think about that, to chew on that a little bit. But it's really important to understand that there's a lot of things you can do, especially for investors, to get cash. Because a lot of times the investors don't qualify. Have you ever found that out? That they may not have the tax returns to be able to justify it, right? To qualify. But with these, you can do that. That's a great way to go. So it freed up for him $1.5 million so he could do his investing. Okay, let's go to the next one. Any questions on that before we go? I mean, I'm really lightning through this really quick, but it's interesting. Okay, now we do bridge loan financing. Why do we do bridge loans? Can anybody tell me why they do bridge loans?
So you want to buy it before selling it.
Exactly. They want to buy an existing property and they don't want to have to sell their current home, right? So they want their cake and eat it too, right? Okay. And so what is the problem with that when that happens? If they already own a home and they have a mortgage payment on it, how are they going to qualify for another house? Can you tell me what would happen? What's the problem with that scenario? What's that? DTI. Bingo, exactly. They not only have the current home that they live in, right, that they have mortgage payments on, taxes and insurance, but they also are responsible for the new payment on the new property, right? What's the other issue that comes up? What's that? Two payments, exactly right. And what's a big one that comes up is that they don't have the down payment, right? If they don't have the down, normally you get money from the home you're selling, right? To buy the home you want to buy, that's where the down payment comes from usually. So we do bridge loan financing, and there's 2 ways that you can do that. So let me take it through you. Let me take it through for you. The current home is worth $1 million. The lender says, okay, we'll lend up to 75% of that million. That's $750,000. They owe $200,000 on the property. Everybody with me so far? Okay. All right. So that leaves $550,000 for a down payment on the home that they want to buy. That's the bridge loan, right? That's the bridge. So now what's going to happen is if they want to buy this home right here for $950,000, and there's something here that's blocking that, but there you go. But in order to do this, in order to make this work, they're gonna have to come in with $950,000 as a down payment. That may not be very realistic. So what you do is you do cross collateralization, which we just talked about. And talk to Jojo and I about it, because it takes a while to wrap your head around this. We don't expect you to understand it right now, but it's really important. When we do cross collateralization, what we do is, go to the next one, is we combine both houses. So in this case, we have property number one that they're selling for $1 million, property number two that they're buying for 1.5. Now they have a total value of 2.5 because we're putting the houses together. And so now the value is $1,625,000. And so the amount of down payment needed, so the new loan amount is 1.4. The required down payment is $75,000. I've had bridge loans where a gentleman had a house that was worth $2 million. He bought a ranch in way outside the city limits for about $2 million, right? And with that purchase, we did a bridge loan against his existing property. He did not have to come in with one dime for down payment or closing costs. Not one dime. And we also put aside for him 6 months worth of interest, payments, so he wouldn't have to make any payments on the loans for 6 months, giving him time to sell the current property. And he was able to pick up a great deal.
Sorry, Brian.
He was able to pick up a great deal. The property came up for sale. He didn't have time to sell his current property. He wanted it because he got a good price on it. And we were able to execute on it. Now that's amazing, right? That's incredible. I mean, all you need is one of those per year that you normally would not have. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the idea that there's a lot of possibilities out there. There may be some deals out there that are really, you're just going, how is this going to work? And it's so important to talk to the client and say, well, you know, there's possibilities. Call John or JoJo and let's see if it can actually work. The sooner you get your clients to us, the faster the process goes for absorption into the land.
Sell the property or they can keep it for a long time?
They can rent it out, they can do a lot of things, but the original loan has to be paid off. So they have to come up with the funds to be able to do that.
How long they have?
1 year. 1 year. It's a bridge loan financing, so it's basically 11 months. Good question. Okay, go ahead.
And is bridge loan typically higher rate?
Yes, higher rates. They're in anywhere from 9 to 10%. So they're higher. Okay, all right. We have Charmaine. Charmaine is a really good example. She had bad knees. She lived in a tri-level home. She had to find another house. But here's the problem that Charmaine had. She only worked part-time and did not have enough income. But she was retired. So let's go to the next page. All right. So it's really important about people that are retired because that is the number one. Right now, the most people buying homes right now segment are what? Boomers, right? More boomers are buying homes than ever before. They're the largest single segment. It used to be first-time home buyers, now it's boomers. So the question is how do you help somebody who is a boomer who doesn't quite have the income, but they have IRAs? What the lender will do is for people who can't qualify, in this case, Charmaine had $208,000 in an IRA account. Did you know that the lender will divide that amount by 36 months and give her income of $5,777 a month? They will do that.
At
So,
what age?
what's that?
At what age?
59 and a half. Okay, so this is a really big deal. If you have clients that are older, over 59 and a half, and they don't even think they can qualify, the first question I ask is, what do you have in an IRA? And if they tell me $500,000 or $300,000 or whatever it might be, that's income. I mean, we should be jumping up and down. This is really exciting. This is like amazing, right? Because this would be for somebody 45% of people who rented, to give you an idea how bad misinformation is, 45% of people who rented thought that they had to have 20% down in a Fannie Mae survey. Everybody has it wrong. Nobody has it right, but you do, and we do. And so that's why the idea to educate your clients is a key consideration. No matter if they think they know it, they don't know it, because there's so many possibilities out there. Okay, let's keep going. Going another one. Okay, oh yeah, okay, this is a good one. Let's do this one. This is for boomers too. We'll do this really fast. Jerry and Susan, they came to us and they said, we want to move down and live with our grandkids. They never say, I don't know if you always know this or not, but they never say we want to go down and live by our kids. It's always when we live by our grandkids. So they had to live with their grandkids or by their grandkids. They wanted to buy a home. Their home was $825,000, but they could not afford the house they wanted, and they didn't have an IRA, so we could not qualify them. Okay, so go to the next one. Okay, wait. Oh, hold on. Okay, go ahead. Okay, so basically they did not have the money to do it. Keep going back. Oh, yep, other way. Back. Okay, so basically they couldn't qualify for traditional financing. So how did they buy? They bought with a reverse mortgage. You can buy with a reverse mortgage. And using the reverse mortgage, they actually ended up with more money in the bank as a result of that. They still have it, they love it. And people look at it and go, well, gee whiz, those aren't right, but my gosh. What they're finding right now is, number one, reverse mortgages have been changed markedly over the last 10 years. They're not a predatory product, and the solutions that they provide are incredible. They really are something. Surveys after surveys show that people who use reverse mortgages in many instances will have more money to give to their heirs at the end of life than by not using.
So on the reverse mortgage, number one, you have to live in your primary home. So the new home is going to be an investment property or new home?
No, the new home has to be a primary residence. They're moving to a home they want to live in. Their problem is that they had a big down payment, but they didn't have the income to qualify in their condition.
So the reverse goes on the new home or the old?
Yes, the new home. Only the new home.
Okay, and
They
the old,
sold the old home.
not the,
Okay, all right, keep going. All right, real quick, keep going. All right, real fast on first-time home buyers. We'll have 2 minutes and we'll make this really fast for you. And by the way, I wrote a book, Go Buy Your First Home Today. We have a whole bunch up in the for you, and we can give those to you. But basically, you have brother A and brother B. Brother A decides to buy now, brother B decides to buy later. They buy a first home for $675,000. They put 5% down. Who's better off in 5 years? Well, you'll see that after 5 years, $68,375 goes to the guy who bought. And the reason is because the mortgage deductions are so much bigger than they were several years ago. That's the advantage of the higher rates. You go to the next one. And then you'll also see that the equity over 5 years, the person who bought now, it's the house as the values go up was worth $821. Keep going. The opportunity cost for not buying today in this particular example was $296,968. Now I'm out of time, so I can't go into detail on this, but we can send you the slides. We'll work with you every way that we possibly can. We love you. We want to work with you. I know JoJo just adores each of you. I'll sign your book, and we are here to do whatever we need to make deals happen that might normally not happen. So make sure you give us a call. We're here for you.
Send us information on the first time home buyer.
Okay.
You can get Stephanie or whoever to email us all this. There's a lot of people who do want to buy first time. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you so much. Okay, we're not done, folks. Hold on, hold your horses. Okay. Stay in your seat. So thank you, John, Jojo, Gina, the whole Main Street Mortgage, and thank you for lunch. We just appreciate you immensely with our new partnership, right? So super excited to have you on board and to collaborate with you. Let's see. Okay. Okay, one more. All right. Jeff Lando, yay! Hey, congratulations, Jeff. You're 100%. It's so funny. No, it's so exciting getting 100%, right? Everyone's like, oh, can I have a higher split? It's like, don't you want to get 100%? Just let's get to 100%. Right? So let's just get you there as soon as possible. Jeff's amazing. He's a listing machine. So we appreciate you and very, very much. And then also congrats to, we had 2 people with March closed over 2 million, and that is Teen Smith. They kicked a major boutique and getting congratulations. You had, oh wait, what month is this? It's, I think it's supposed to be April.
March.
May. This is May, so that should have been April.
Yeah.
I think. Anyway, we're human. Joey, don't tell Paul that.
Please.
And then thank you again to our beautiful ALC and what you did. So thank you. And I appreciate, I just couldn't do it without each and every one of you. And then Debbie Nasser is up here. So thank you again for your support. We're having a kick-ass, what month we're at? May. And then we're already getting ready for June. Okay, Monique and who's that?
Her mamas.
I'm like, what happened? All right, so happy anniversary to look at all the people that have anniversaries in May. So crazy. We have fun here. All these people. It's just super, super exciting. 1 year, 2 year, 2 year, 2 years. Oh, Zach King, 15 years. Jordan Davey, 13. The Schmitz, 8, Larry, 7, the Galoons is 5, everybody else. So congratulations and thank you for your commitment. And then what, you know what's next? The birthdays. Okay, ladies, come on down. Oh, Carmela, that's right. Okay, come on down. All right, you guys, you do you. Okay, you do you.
Happy birthday to Lee Black, Rika, Moses, Carmela.
So if you're here, come and get your cupcakes.
If you're here, get your cupcakes. We have Ben, Gabriel, Marcia, Hudson, Marsha, Jeff, Alex, Brittany, Ricky, Sandra, Michael, Ophelia, Alon, or Elon,
Alon, yeah.
Alon, Cherie, Sonia, Danielle, Yulia.
I can have their cupcake.
Who's she? Harry and Jason, happy birthday to all of you.
Carmela. So we're gonna say happy birthday to Carmela. In 1. Hold on. Okay, record, you know. Excuse me. Okay, ready? Okay, and count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Carmela. Happy birthday to you.
And then you
Because we didn't have everybody else.
And everyone else, happy birthday.
So you can get a cupcake.
Next month if your birthday's in June.
yeah, we celebrated the last 2 meeting of the month.
Candle. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I did. I left the one to slide in, an old slide in. Okay, here are the closed over 2 million in April of 2025. Melina, Ava, Susie, Team Selig, Joe Pennish, Akash, and Team Smith. Woo! It's like, it didn't make sense. Okay, yeah, so congratulations, Hicken, Butte for sure. Are you, do you have anything you're saying?
Oh, I just have one thing.
Hurry up, give hard stop.
Yes, so Myra did have her very first listing. Myra Thomas, I saw her on Zoom.
That's right. Congratulations.
Congrats, Myra.
Okay, so here, I don't know if you all had a chance. Ryan, we're gonna get him all set up he's the training at 1 o'clock. So excited for the investment network to be here. We did a private session with the top earners in the office and the ALC a couple months ago. So now we're rolling it out to the office in its entirety. If you want to do the QR code, but he'll explain everything and how this all works. So my question, Ryan, should I have them grab a plate and then we'll get you all set up? Okay, so if you want, no one's going anywhere, you're staying here, okay? Otherwise, I'm gonna put a little electric shock at the door and it's gonna hurt on the way out. Okay, so, yeah, so if you haven't grabbed anything to eat, or if you want more, just grab some food. Thank you again, Main Street Mortgage. And we're gonna get Ryan all set up here for our training that goes on with the investment network. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you all. All right, so don't go anywhere. Okay. So. Well, it's still massive, we need to download, so I'm trying to give you a USB, right? So. I think. So hold on, everybody, we're gonna get to the training here in a sec. We're done, we're done. What do you have? Your thing? If you want to.
This, USB or USB-C?
USB. And they can't be right in. He's one of those. How's everything going on there?
Not sure, or, you know what, just put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, where's your name?
So those on Zoom land, just take a quick potty break or whatever you need to do and be back in about 5 minutes at the most.
Good start.
Yeah, it's only gonna be able to reflect on my time.
Thank you so much for your help. Just opened it up on my laptop. So my suggestion would be, if you have a laptop, you can connect your laptop to the computer.
Apparently not a full rather.
Oh.
Studies have shown that against the scavengers, bay jackals feed more successfully when they work in groups of up to
This is three applicant notes.
How are you? Hey, how are you?
I think you should, or you should, or you can just connect.
Well, yeah, because we might not be able to Zoom. Oh, his thing came up. Yeah, we have it like this, but we don't, there's, he's only gonna be able to. Oh, so then. So it'd be the same thing as how you have it. Well, no, I have, you can view mine. He can do a slideshow. On. But you still might, hold on a second, because sometimes I've been able to get past it. No, you're here. It's going here. Yeah, it's all good.
And Ashley's not here, so. Oh, yeah, Ashley's working with it.
Okay, all right, perfect. Fabuloso. Okay, everybody in Zoom land, can you see the screen that says attend this meeting for a chance to win? I need someone to pretend.
Yes, we do.
Yes. All right, thanks, Omid. And then now you can see the one that says price versus convenience.
No.
No.
Oh, you know what they're doing? Okay, hold on a second. I have to do this. Oh, shit. Hold on. Hold on. Just bear with us. Stop share.
Yeah, one of these,
Okay.
like a cattle prod? No. I have a.
How did I just? Hold on a sec, guys. Sorry for the pain in the ass. Here we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna go.
Yeah, to the highway, yeah.
Okay, now do you see price versus convenience?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Good job, sir.
Okay, it all worked out fabulously. Okay, are we all ready to go? I know we have people on, we'll send out another text. So we have people, a few people on Zoom, and then you all are here. So the person that I'm gonna introduce, that I absolutely love and adore, Joey Sakovich, who is, he's part of the, you know, the team, the leadership team in Forward Living and the TL of our Larchmont office. And I just appreciate you so much.
I'm so happy to be
You're
here.
so happy that you're here.
I'm so happy to be here, both to see Stephanie and Debbie and Ashley. And to kind of stand next to Ryan while he tells you about this opportunity. I think it's a really in this day and age, our sellers need options, right? More than ever, they all have special needs, and the investment network, I really believe in and have experienced it firsthand. That it offers up a menu item for your clients that I did not have previously. My experience with as both from a leadership position and on the kind of the agent side is that that I walk into a listing presentation and the client has sometimes bad information, oftentimes bad information, because there's such access to it. And oftentimes they're receiving, they may be receiving some off-market or unsolicited opportunities before we even get in the door. So we as realtors, traditionally, we're offering one solution for them. You know, we put your house on the market, we advertise it, we market it, and we sell it. But in our current moment in time, we need to offer more. And so one of my first experiences when I met Ryan was with one of my agents who got a cold call listing appointment from her Yelp reviews, I believe. And in that, you know, I had just been talking to Samantha about Ryan's service, and she went in armed with not only the conversation of an off-market deal, or an investor opportunity, but in that particular case, with an offer, right? And when the client says something to the effect of, you know, Open Door sent me an unsolicited offer, and she said, for how much? And in that particular case, I think it was like in the low eights. Her mother had just passed away. It was a house full of stuff. She was the most responsible sibling who was in charge of, kind of, dealing with all the particulars. And she, my agent was like, well, you're going to love me because I have an offer in hand right now as an option for you, if that's the one you want to take, for $915,000, I believe it was at the time. And so the client was very, very thankful because she didn't necessarily want to, it was overwhelming. She had to clear out the house, all of her mother things, and the house was in disrepair. And she really didn't want to go through all of that, to put it on the market, to see, to negotiate and do open houses and do all of these things. So she was very, very interested in that off-market opportunity, and she actually closed the deal with my agent around that initial offer. It was 15 days, take what you want, leave what you don't want, and the investor came in and dealt with the rest of it. It was very clean. My agent was a big winner in it it was kind of not a cold call, but a Yelp review lead. And we've had several successes since then over the last year of this being the right tool, the right solution for the particular client. It's not the right solution for every deal, but it is an important menu item for you, the agents, to have. In that it did, I don't want to take all of Ryan's information, but part of the things that I love about it, in that you're not relying on one investor to determine value. It goes out to a pool of investors that Ryan has vetted and that have the capacity to close on deals. And you can actually get multiple offers from multiple investors. It's about, again, choosing the right fit for that particular property. So it really gives you options that I never had before. And so before I lay the whole thing out, I'll let Ryan take over and talk about the opportunities for you, the agents, and for your clients, because there's a win for both of you in this equation, right? Was that okay? Did I get it too much?
Thank you. Give it up for Joey.
No.
I don't think he got a good enough introduction, actually. I have to say, if you don't know Joey, Joey runs Larchmont, KW Larchmont, and he's amazing. I'm a huge fan, just like your OP and team lead. I work with tons of different real estate offices, almost exclusively KW. And for those of you on the outskirts or those of you in Zoom land, I'm gonna try and focus a little bit on you. I don't want you to just look at the back of my head the whole time, but it looks like we have about a dozen people here and about a dozen people in Zoom land. So I'll tell you, if you didn't scan the QR code, you'll get an opportunity at the end of the meeting to scan the QR code. It means you're gonna have a 1 in 24 chance of winning $10,000. And it happened in Joey's office. It happens in every one of my launches. You will get $10,000. But you're gonna have to understand, the situation. You're gonna have to understand the way our business model works and how we help agents. It's gonna be cash through a transaction that you will get paid just like you get paid any other commission check. Obviously, you're under a brokerage. I can't just hand you cash, but I can hand it to your broker and they can hand it to you however you want. But it will happen. So my advice is, listen up, get involved, ask me questions, challenge me any way that you want. I promise you, this is a game changer. I promise you, there are thousands of top producers that are using our system. And also, I'll tell you, we're the only system that's vetted by KW to be able to come to your office and share this with you in a way that tens of thousands of other people would love to do. And it's because I care very much about making sure your business grows. Actually, Joey pointed this out to me maybe about a year ago. We were in a meeting with another OP, and he actually interrupted me and he said, what I love about what Ryan does is at the end of the year, my numbers are not based on closings. They're not based on commissions. They're not based on how much money I make. They're based on how many deals can I help this office land? How many listings can you get? The more listings you get at the end of the year, I'm gonna go back to Stephanie and Joey and all the others and say, look at what we did. We helped you guys land so much more listings. That is my goal, and that's what we're going to do. So I'll get to it.
And take a sip, and that happens directly with your product. Oh, no, I already have mine. Directly with your product, with your solution or your option, and indirectly.
Yeah.
Because you know, it's like I said, it is the right solution for some situations, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate that. So the first question, this is the first question that I ask every real estate agent, every real estate office I've been going to for the last 4 years. I go into real estate offices, there might be 10 people, there might be 300 people. And I ask this question, if you can only answer one, as a listing agent, what do you believe is more important for your clients? Price or convenience? Anybody want to give me an answer what they think is more important? You only have 2 options, price or convenience, right now. Price.
Right now.
Depends. Right now, price. Anybody else? Generality. I know it's a very general question. Here's the thing that I'll say. As it says on the flyer you were given, we live in a world where people will pay $5 to have a $7 cheeseburger delivered to their home, which never would have happened a decade ago. It never would have happened 5 years ago. People are paying so much more for convenience. I see this in the younger agents all the time. They recognize convenience over value is becoming more and more important. I can tell you, when my dad sold his house back 20 years ago, there's no way he would ever consider convenience over price. You're always trying to get top dollar. It's the most important thing. But if you pay $5 to have a $7 cheeseburger delivered to your home, you're obviously not focused on price. You're focused on convenience, or delivered to the office. You want to keep working, so you don't want to go out and waste that hour, so you'll have the burger delivered or you'll have lunch delivered. Convenience has become so much more important. And as realtors, I give you a perspective. I'm a 30-year realtor. I'm a 0% national realtor. I've closed over 4,000 transactions in my career. I've done a lot of business. The way we did business 30 years ago as realtors, what our management trains, is pretty much the same thing. You know, show up, sign a listing contract, put a sign in the lawn, put a lockbox on it if you're not going to show it directly, do a broker's open, get a preview done, basically upset the natural order of the home, but that's how we have to do it to get top dollar. And we get that. And most homeowners are good with that. But not all are, especially the younger generation. Especially the under 40s are really focused on how can I get this to be a more convenient thing. You know, I got 3 kids, they're in school. How do I upset all of this? And you want to show my house and the weekend and the dogs and the bird and the this and the that. How do we get it done? Our goal is to give you more options to offer your clients more convenience. And we're doing it every day. This month, our agents landed over 400 listings. They landed listings by just utilizing our systems and resources. So we kind of messed with our presentation here a little bit. So forgive me if I don't know. No, it's not going to the next one. First step.
We need to click on the mouse.
Well, maybe because, yeah, there you go. There you go. Okay. We're talking about convenience over price. Anybody know what this is? Anybody recognize this?
I still have a membership
You
card.
still have a membership card in your car. Anybody seen one of these lately? No, why not? Because technology changed. Business changed, the direction of things changed. How about this? Recognize this? This actually made Blockbuster disappear. The VHS tapes, the CDs, the laser discs, they're gone. And they're gone because of convenience. They're gone because things change and we have to change with them. So I want to give you a quick example. I'm going to tell you a quick story. Anybody recognize this wonderful lady? Travel agent. Raise your hand if you know what a travel agent is. Because if you're under 40, you might not know what a travel agent is. I'm guessing you don't know what a travel agent is. Well, that's for good reason, actually. So let's understand this. This is a profession, a lot like a real estate agent. This is a profession that serves people and helps people and has an amazing value. Did you know if you went to Cancun and you got to the front desk and they said, I don't have your reservation, what do you do? It used to be you could call your travel agent and she would say, don't worry, Ryan, I got you. I'll call them. I'll have it taken care of. I'll make sure that you have these little extras or whatever. She took care of you. She was a service representative. And guess what? It's like the industry went from a multi-billion-dollar industry to under a multi-million-dollar industry. They almost don't exist. They do still exist, but it's very rare. And why? Anybody know why the travel agent doesn't exist anymore?
We just do it ourselves.
We do it ourselves. It's been made a lot easier. How is it made easier? What was that?
Expedia.
Expedia. Expedia was the first one to show up on the scene and make it so much easier to change it. You've heard of this one, right? Yeah, you've heard of that one, definitely. You've heard of that one. And does anybody know who owns Expedia? Actually, the CEO of Expedia is the same guy that owns Zillow. His name is Richard Barton. Richard Barton is the CEO of Expedia. He's also the CEO of Zillow. He's also on the advisory board and one of the founders of Netflix. All of these industry disruptors. He is an industry disruptor. And he is solely focused right now, actually for the last 20 years, on changing our industry to make it more like this. How do you make real estate more, for those of you who can't see me, more like that, more like Expedia? How do you make real estate more like Expedia? And does it concern you? The idea that we have this major conglomerate, this very successful CEO who has done this with industries, who made the travel agent go bye-bye, who made Blockbuster go bye-bye, and now we spent the last 20 years trying to do the exact same thing for our industry. So let's see what the next slide is. And it's, there we go. So anybody ever seen one of these? Actually, they're pretty rare in California, but they're not rare outside of California. Yep, you wouldn't generally see them in California, but they do exist. I want to show you a couple of things. First of all, Zillow Homes. Zillow is a California broker. Zillow is a national broker. At the bottom here, it says self-tour, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Self-tour, what's a self-tour? Well, with the Google app, you can open up the door yourself. You can have a loan program right there. You can have your title, escrow, everything you need right through the Zillow app. You can open up the door yourself. You can do your own showing. So I'm hoping that my next slide is, yep, it's a little bit of an interview with Richard Barton a couple of years ago talking about Zillow offers. And I know we're not seeing a lot of Zillow offers in California anymore, but they're actually doing a lot of off-market business. They're also actually buying through Open Door and through We Buy Ugly Homes. They're just not buying as direct as they used to on the West Coast, but on the East Coast, they're doing thousands of transactions every month still. So I want to give you a little perspective on Richard Barton and how he's seeing our industry and what the expectations were just a couple of years ago. See if we can get this to play.
Let's talk about Zillow.
Yeah, okay.
There we go. It's the home buying platform, of course.
Right.
You're now in 21 markets.
Yeah.
How's it gone?
Well, so let me start out by saying Zillow Offers is a relatively new, brand new thing for Zillow. Most people know Zillow because of our estimate. We get 200 million people a month who come use our apps and visit our sites to look at those estimates and to see what's for sale. And that product and that traffic has defined the company for the first generation. Now customers are demanding more. They're demanding e-commerce actually come to the real estate market and transform the transaction. And so Zillow 2.0 is about revolutionizing that transaction. And Zillow Offers is our product there. We're actually buying and selling homes in 21 markets right now. It's going really well. It's grown from basically a standing start to a $1.5 billion a year run rate revenue business.
I don't know what it was. Multi-billion-dollar run rate revenue business. There you go. $1.25 billion run rate revenue business.
The big thing we're seeing here is that sellers are frustrated in their homes. It's painful to sell a home. I don't know if you've done it recently, but it's so painful to sell your home. And I've rarely seen a stronger consumer reaction to a new product that I'm seeing with Zillow Offers. People, they want to get rid of that time uncertainty and that price uncertainty and all the hassles with people going through your closets and using your bathroom while you're not in your house. Anyway, Zillow Offers is kind of a magic thing that just short circuits that and solves that for people.
Zillow Offers is kind of a magic thing that just short circuits that. What are they short circuiting? Us. They're short circuiting realtors. They're short circuiting the way we do business. They're saying there's an easier and better way. And he has the audacity to say consumers are begging for this. Don't forget, Zillow is known as the trusted resource, right? I don't know how many of us trust this resource, but that's what it's known as. And this is his main focus. Let's see what else he has to say. By the way, you can find this on YouTube. It's a CNBC interview, obviously.
I read a quote. You're on the board of Netflix as well, which we might come to. But as it relates to Zillow, you said, I see a lot of parallels here as we take Zillow Group into the next phase with what we saw with Netflix when we moved from DVDs by mail to streaming and then to originals. It's that kind of change.
So what I meant when I said that was that I basically likened the transition, the kind of market expansion that Zillow is going through right now, where we've got this huge, profitable incumbent business with this trusted brand. And we're saying, all right, there is a technology disruption happening, and we've got to be the ones to build the bridge across the chasm and get to the other side. And that's why we are going so hard and so aggressively, but in a prudent way, at the new opportunity, and it's going extremely well.
Do you think even further a step forward about other avenues you could go into with mortgages, other aspects?
Yeah, it turns out that the house transaction is the hub of a series of really big, important, and potentially profitable transactions. Getting the mortgage, the title, the escrow, moving, telecommunication services, all this happens and changes and is keyed off of the house transaction. And we are making investments in most of these businesses, specifically mortgages, title, and escrow right now, and creating an integrated digital platform so that one day, the dream is that we dream one day of you having kind of almost a trade-in experience with your house, where you're standing in a house, a Zillow Offers house that we own. You've been there 15 times. You've let yourself in with the Zillow app. We know who you are and where you live. We've already have a mortgage ready to go. We have an offer ready for your house when you're ready to transact, and you with one click can decide to move.
And you with one click can decide to move. We dream of an experience that's kind of a trade-in experience where you can just one click and everything's done. This is a reality. This is actually happening in multiple places in the US. And why is it happening? Because realtors can't compete. We're going to give you the option to compete, and we're going to show you how to compete on a level that is a game changer. Obviously, this isn't something that most realtors are extremely concerned about, but I'll tell you what, I don't know if any of you paid attention to what was going on with Redfin and Rocket Mortgage just a couple of months ago, but Rocket's buying Redfin, and it's going to give them the ability to do the exact same thing. So now there are two giant conglomerates that are attacking in the exact same way. And realtors, guys, I've been talking to realtors now for years. And I was actually showing this 3 years ago when this came out. Now I have realtors calling me and saying, Ryan, what do we do? How do we change? Well, here's the cool thing. It's actually really exciting because you can offer options that they won't be able to offer. You can compete in a way that they'll never be able to compete, because I know that you can offer things like customer service and protection and helping them and answering the phone at 3 o'clock in the morning when they're freaked out. That's all the stuff you can do that they'll never be able to compete with, because you're humans that care about the process and care about protecting them, which is the exact opposite. If you ever dealt with Opendoor or Zillow Offers, they are the buyer. They protect the buyer. Who's the buyer? Them. No one protects the seller when they're involved. And so that's where it's different. That's where you can help. And so let's see, I want to show you a quick video. I don't know if any of you have ever seen any of these commercials that Opendoor puts out, but they're amazing.
There are two ways to sell your house. The easiest way is selling it to Opendoor. The other way is selling it yourself. It's not as fun.
Only
You're
two
gonna
ways.
have to
You
pay
sell
over
to Opendoor.
that. Oh, wow, that's, can fix anything else that needs fixing.
Yeah, this place is gonna need a lot of work. Well, that's not code.
And a lot of showings. A bunch of random strangers will come barging through here. Better hope they like what they see.
You see that wallpaper? What were they thinking? Let's hear more about the open doorway.
All you have to do is go to opendoor.com, enter your address, answer a few questions about your house, and you'll get an offer in a few steps.
So this is a real offer.
Really real. Opendoor will take a look at your house along with recent sales in your neighborhood and come up with a very competitive offer. And you can close whenever you're ready. Thanks so much.
And we do everything online?
You can manage the entire sale online if you want. And that's it, the Opendoor way. So what do you think? Well, I'm sold.
We're sold.
Sold to Opendoor. Get your free offer at opendoor.com.
Here's one more quick one for you. This has 70 million views on YouTube. This commercial.
This family is selling their house.
70 million.
So is that one.
is-
This family is selling their house to Opendoor, the new convenient way to sell your home without listings, showings, or any hassles. That family is selling their home the old way. So they're showing their home to strangers who don't care about the carpet, who eat all their cookies, and who get too comfortable in their home. Sorry.
It's good you're here, actually. What's the Wi-Fi?
Don't be that family. Opendoor will make a competitive offer to buy your house without a single showing. Request your free offer today at opendoor.com.
Yeah, this is definitely, this is actually in our market. I don't think we see it as much here as we're seeing it in other places, but this is in our market and it does exist. I don't know if any of you have ever gotten it. I've gotten 2 in the last year. A letter from Opendoor telling me the value of my house, telling me that they would make an offer on my house right now. The reality of that situation is 99.9% of the time, they will not close at that number that they gave right there on the computer screen or on your app, or they're delivering in a letter, because what are they using? They partner with Zillow. So how are they coming up with those values? Zestimates. How many people believe that majority of Zestimates are correct? No, that's why Zillow Offers failed in Las Vegas, because they bought tons of properties based on their Zestimates. They competed with realtors and they won out like 80% of the time, and they almost went bankrupt over it. They almost went bankrupt over using their own system, which they call a trusted resource, which if you've ever walked into a listing appointment, your clients ever said, but what about the Zestimates? You could tell them that the company almost went bankrupt by going after, by following their own rules. So it's really important to recognize that. And I actually do trainings on how to compete with Opendoor, how to compete with We Buy Ugly Homes and Sellers Advantage, and these companies that we're seeing in greater LA County.
I would never go along with the self-guided to a listing agent.
Yeah.
Too much liability.
Yeah.
What if the two persons walking by themselves fail to lock the back door?
Yeah. No, well, there's thousands of reasons why them not having a realtor involved is not in the seller's best interest and does not protect them at all. But I'm gonna go through this kind of quick. We're gonna talk a little bit about the options and what NAR is saying about the way that the industry is changing that you may not know as a realtor. So I've got my trusty old chalkboard here because I'm old and we still use chalkboards. And you can't see because I'm not, let's see. Try and move this down to the bottom. There we go. And then click back here, home selling options. So a few different options that you have as a homeowner, or the traditional sale, the way you generally do business, Another option is staged. You know, in our market, I think we stage properties more and more than they do in a lot of other markets. But obviously being able to promote staging a home to a homeowner is an advantage that if you don't have a great stager, you definitely should talk to your ALC about where to find a great stager. Another one is concierge service. Anybody know what a concierge service is? What's concierge service?
Help them to be known.
They help them with remodeling, they help them with renovations. So for example, you walk into a property, it's absolutely gorgeous, but the carpet just has gotta go. It's not good. And you say to the seller, hey, I think we could do a lot better if we replace the carpet. And the seller says, I don't have the money to replace the carpet. I just don't. You could say, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'll bring in my concierge company. They'll take care of it and they'll take it from the equity of the sale. So they don't have to come out of pocket. The concierge company can do anything. They can put a new roof on, they can put in a new kitchen, whatever. Concierge companies are kind of a game changer too, because when they go in and they fix it, your client doesn't have to spend any money out of pocket. You can look like the real estate superhero that helped them with that. More and more agents are talking about these services. And obviously the last one is being able to present the seller with a cash offer. So let me break this down a little bit for you. These actually kind of explain it. Sell property at fair market value, sell property at 2 to 5% more than an unstaged home. This is according to NAR last year, 2024. According to NAR, homes that are staged will generally sell for 2 to 5% more. Concierge service, depending on the work that is done, generally will sell for 4 to 15% more, depending on the upgrades. And cash sale will generally go for 3 to 20% less, depending on the condition of the property. What does that break down to? So according to NAR, traditional sales are down by 6.3%, meaning they're going with one of the other options. Staged and reimagined is up by 2.
Top window.
Can you?
I think in that arrow.
There we go. 2.9%. Concierge is up by 3%. And guess what? Cash offers are up by 21.9%, almost 22%. And what does that break down to? So that's 15.1% of sales are sold off market since pre-pandemic. That's up to 37%. So what does that mean? 37% of homes in 2024 sold off market. That means they sold without a realtor. That means they bypassed a realtor and they sold their house somehow. And according to the National Association of Realtors, only 2% of those are FSBOs. So how are they getting done? They're either getting done by realtors who are selling it off market with their own network, but it's still, up until this year, it still needed to be posted on the MLS. So they're probably not getting done with realtors. They're probably being sold completely off market to investors. That's over a third of real estate. Guess what, realtors? A third of your business is gone. It just is. And it's mainly because they're driving up the 5 freeway and they see a sign that says, we'll buy your house. And they call that number and they say, we'll save you a ton of money. There'll be no hassle, no issue. Convenience, convenience, convenience. And they go that route. And guess what? No one's protecting them. No one's watching out for them. No one's making sure that they get what they deserve. They get what they should get. And no one's involved. And this is happening more and more because they look at you and they figure, you can't do that. If you come to my house, it means a little extra drama. It means there's going to be a sign on the front yard. It means there's going to be a lockbox or a walkthrough or brokers or whatever. Somebody in my bed, like Open Door, says it's going to happen to scare the heck out of them. So they've stopped calling realtors because you can't compete with them, but you can. And that's where we're here, because the thing about it is when you go to Open Door, if you call Open Door right now and you ask them, how much is my house worth? And they say it's worth $1 million. Well, what they're doing, if you green light that, if you say, yeah, come on out and take a look, they bring it to their board and their board says, yeah, we'll pay $975 for it. No problem. And they go back and they work the process. What are they doing? It's one buyer with one interest to get the property for as little as possible. When they go out there, they'll inspect the home and they'll say, well, there's an issue here and an issue here and an issue there, and that's $40,000. We're going to reduce that from the price of the home. And guess what? We do actually charge a service fee, which we all call a commission. And it's going to be anywhere from, you all are sitting down, anywhere from 7 to 19%. 7 to 19% to sell your home to Open Door. That doesn't even account for the repairs that need to be done that they're gonna charge you for. So that generally means that the offer is gonna come in 25 to 30% below what that letter in the mail said, or what it said online. You can tell that to your clients. When your client says, I'm interested.
The convenience fee is 19%.
No, the commission, basically what you charge 2-3% for, they charge up to 19%. And there's no other side, it's only them. That's generally what you're looking at, and you can look at it, it's in fine print on their website. Zillow says the same thing, We Buy Every Home says the same thing.
Processing fee.
Right.
Negotiation.
Right, they list it as 40 different fees. And you have to determine it, but you can explain that to your client in the process. Say, hey, if you want to get Zillow, if you want to get Open Door out here, we can go through all of that. Just recognize that number that you were initially offered, that's bait. It's just to get your interest, right? And it's working really well for them. So I like that. I was actually in a training the other day, we were talking about door knocking. Anybody do door knocking? Anybody do farming? Right? So you ever walk past those, especially in SoCal, you ever walk past those houses that says do not solicit? You just have to keep walking by. Every single time you have to keep walking, and you think to yourself, somebody's been doing this for 20, 30, 50 years. No one's ever knocked on that door. Why do you think that person says no soliciting? Because they don't want to deal with realtors. They don't want to deal with people knocking on their door because they assume that the process by which you're going to bring is going to be a pain in the behind that they're never going to want to deal with. So they say, do not knock on my door. And what if they knew that you had a resource where you could literally walk up to the door with an offer and say, we could close this week or next month. It's up to you. Call me. Because you can do that. I can protect you. I can do, as your realtor, you can protect them. You can do everything that anybody can do. You just need to be able to understand those resources. So I'm going to play a quick video for you to help you understand what the investment network does for real estate agents.
Hey there, real estate superhero. First and foremost, thank you. We appreciate your time and we promise to make this quick. And here's how we're going to get your attention in the first 15 seconds of this video.
Attention elite real estate professionals. The following resource is free for you and your clients. Not only is this free, this will make you more money. In most cases, agents have made as much as 200% more money.
Hold on. You got that, right? If you could make 200% more money on even one transaction this year, and you didn't have to spend a dime more on advertising or marketing or door knocking, would that be of interest to you?
By the end of this video, you will have picked up thousands of new buyers and a bit of new info you may not have already known.
Here's the first thing you need to know. For almost 3 decades, our investment network has helped tens of thousands of realtors win more listings, close more sales, make more money, serve more clients, solve more problems. And together, with the help of great realtors like you, we're changing the scope of what it means to be a great real estate professional with a heart for service, community, and the betterment of our industry. So here we go. We're going to share a ton of great information with you in this video. So please pay attention to these 3 key points that'll help you understand why thousands of realtors utilize our investment network every day. Number 1, commissions. Did I get your attention? The investment network generally does not charge or accept any commission from realtors or sellers. That's right. When you list a house for 6%, you keep the entire 6%. Here's an example. If you list an $850,000 house for 6%, you'd normally make about $25,000. Now, with the investment network, you'll make over $50,000. That's right. You keep all of the commission and all of the buyer's agent's commission. 100% more profit on every sale with no additional cost or obligation. I think you're starting to figure out why over 80% of the agents who use our service are top producers. Number 2, we do not buy real estate. Unlike independent iBuyers who are competing with you for your business, your investment network does not buy investments. We manage investors, and our job is to get the most from investors for your homeowners. If we bought your property, we need to get the best price, right? Well, by removing our interest and getting the lowest price, we can focus on helping you get your client the most. What's more important than that? Number 3, what does every sale need? Give up? Qualified buyers, of course. And what if you didn't have to deal with outside agents taking your commission and complicating your sales? As of right now, you have tens of thousands of new buyers. So what are you going to do with them? After almost 3 decades working with investors, we've developed some amazing ways to help you take full advantage of this fantastic resource. The next time you see an ugly house, a seller in a hurry, an iBuyer honing in on your neighborhood, or even just the opportunity to help better educate your client as to what the cash value of their home is, we are here to serve you. It's kind of our thing. So, more money? Check. More opportunity? Check. More happy clients? Check. More resources, more accountability, more sales? Check, check, check. Oh, I almost forgot. If you have qualified investors, or if you're looking to invest, we would love to share our in-house inventory with you. Simply send us an email and let's set up a time to talk and collaborate. We are not your competition. Our obligation is to serve and empower realtors so you can knock the socks off every client. Be sure to write down investmentnetwork.tech and please put us to the test. We look forward to hearing from you.
It was, yes, this is actually the less cheesy one. There's one that's even more cheesy, but it's fun. So one detail I want to go over, and we're going to open it up for questions soon, but one very important detail that I want to go over and explain that's always kind of lost in translation, so I like to go over it a couple of times. First of all, this video is a little bit old. Obviously, we don't list properties for 6% anymore, but you should be explaining to all your clients that they should expect to pay 5 or 6%, right? So you get it, that there's 2.5 or 3 on one side and 2.5 or 3 on the other side, and we don't charge anything for our services. We represent the buyer. You represent the seller, but we do not charge any commissions whatsoever. Stephanie has got you in the top level of our service, and therefore you pay no cost for our services whatsoever. And for that, you can have thousands of agents, thousands of investors vie for that property and bid on that property. What was your question?
The buyers pay you or the investors pay you?
So the way we get paid is, yeah, our investor will generally pay us a point or two as a buyer broker fee to represent them. So they don't have to take any money from you and your client. So what I wanted to break down a little bit, just to be clear, if you list a property for $850,000, which in this market is probably a condo now, which is unbelievable, and you're generally going to get 3%, that's $25,000. As realtors, that's what we're trying to do all day long. It's exciting. Like, I'm making $25,000, and I'm telling you, you now have the opportunity to make twice as much money 100% of the time if they're interested in a more convenient option. Obviously, that means $50,000. And if they're interested in putting that property back on the market, which, by the way, about 80% of real estate bought by investors is relisted, is flipped. That's generally the way it works because interest rates are so high and prices are so high, it's hard to get things to cash flow. So investors are generally looking for flippable properties. But if they put that property back on the market, and let's say they put $250,000 into it, they put it back on the market for 1.2. This is a nice condo, apparently. We will ask you to be involved in the resale. Here's the thing. We don't sell real estate. We want you back in. We want a KW sign back on that lawn. There's nothing I want more than to walk into an office meeting and say, look what this agent just did. They sold this property to make 2 sides, and then they got to relist it, and you could make an additional 3%, which is another $36,000. And actually, I have a lot of agents do this. So hold an open house at this home, maybe get a 4th side, which actually last year we had 76 listings. Agents got 4 sides. We turned that $25,000 into $122,000, and this happened 76 times with us last year. Out of about 3,000 listings, about 80% of them got relisted with the original agent, and that agent got at least 3 sides, and 76 of them got 4 sides. This is definitely possible. It happens all the time. What do you need to do? You just need to talk to your clients about it. You need to offer them more options. I don't even know what the next slide is. Let's see. Great. You need to offer them more options. You need to discuss the possibility of a more convenient option, which will not work for a majority of your clients, but it will work for some. And that's why we suggest you start talking about it. This is just another tool in your toolbox. How many of you have a good handyman? You got a good handyman. Can he maybe help with, the air conditioning? Maybe you can take a look at it, make sure it's working great. He's good enough for that. Do you need him for every resource? Do you need him for every listing? No, but you've got him in your toolbox. This is just another example of something you can have in your toolbox. So I'm gonna play another quick video for you that's an example from a top producing realtor in Orange County that does a ton of business with us. Actually, she increased her business by almost 10% in 2023 by just giving us addresses and letting us assess the value for her and get her an offer on these properties. So I'm going to play this quick video for you from Lauren. This is actually from a podcast that we did a little while ago. So forgive me, it's a little informal, and you'll see me on here. I think after this.
So to me, if you guys are not utilizing and adding our network, I say ours because I feel like you said I'm a part of the family, but if you're not utilizing that in your everyday presentation, if you don't have them in your actual listing presentation, I feel like you're doing yourself a massive disservice. The truth of the matter is when you show up to a listing appointment, you're not just there for that listing appointment, right? Like you want to move forward and get other deals from this one deal. So to me, having you guys in there, even if it's not right for that specific client, having you guys in there, and then after we sell the property, they're like, oh, hey, my brother, has got this property and there's a massive hole in the roof and he doesn't want to do anything. Do you have any buyers? He's kind of embarrassed to put on the market. That sort of thing is a great way moving forward. So to me, and you guys know we had a deal together not too long ago in North Orange County where, I had an elderly person who really didn't want to do anything to the property. She had cats. It was just an older property. I remember standing in the bathroom and just looking at everything. And I looked up and there was a hole in the ceiling. And I thought, oh my gosh, okay, this was only going to go to one specific buyer. So when you're going through an investment property or something that's going to be coming in, for your guys' network, you know that you're only looking at a certain type of buyer anyways. So your buyer pool, you feel in the moment goes from this to this, when in actuality, it's going from this to this, because you guys have so many people that you guys network and bring in. And just to give an example of how we've done things, I love showing up and telling my people, hey, don't worry about this, because they're very self-conscious. They see the homes that my team lists on the daily. So they see us listing these big, beautiful, perfectly placed homes. Well, that's because we put the work in at the forefront, right? So they don't see it until it's live and active and on the market. So when I walk into their home, they're already beat down about their property. So coming in and almost kind of being like the, if you will, is nice, because people are like, you have people who want my house and you have more than one. And then, you show up and you're like, here's the, 2, 3, 45 offers that I have from these investors. Which one fits our situation and our criteria the best? And then it's in and it's out. So for me, it's really great, especially to those buyers who are down on themselves, who might not be in the best financial situation, or they have a big home that they've let go because it's just become too much for them to handle, whether it's because the loss of a spouse, getting older, or, just not being around. That's my personal experience.
That's so awesome. I just wanted to ask one more question. That was, you started just sending us addresses. I know you'd go on a listing appointment and we're like, oh, there's another one from Lauren. There's another one from Lauren. And I'm wondering why do you, what's the value that you see? Why do you just randomly send us addresses?
I even will send you guys addresses before I even have the listing. Because I like to utilize, sorry guys, I like to use you. So if I come in and I say, hey, listen, if you want to go with this offer, this is what I can do for you. We can close in 7 days, 10 days, whatever it is. We have to disclose everything. This is how it's going to work. If you want this price, then it's going to take us a week. We need to get pictures up and running. I need to move things around. We need to bring in a stager. So to me, time is money, right? So if I can save my clients 2 weeks of prepping their property and come in with you guys kind of as the saving grace sometimes it's really worth it for them. I have a client, for example, who's in pre-foreclosure. I mean, the minute we get that notice of default, you know, our time starts right then and there. So to me, it's like, well, if I can kind of bring this in for you and you know that we're going to close escrow in 7 to 10 days, you're going to have that cash in your pocket. We don't need to worry about this sale date. I mean, and even, yes, even now we are seeing pre-foreclosures and stuff like that. If you're in a situation that's maybe not the best, you're going through a pre-foreclosure, hey, we're going to get through this together. Don't worry about it. If you were great and you've got all this equity and you're moving, you know, up north, down south, out of the state, whatever, hey, we're excited for you. Let's get on to the next, you know, leg of your journey in life.
And great example that she gave. You know, we show up at office meetings, whether it's on Zoom or in person, and we're constantly talking about, and I say this, I don't know if people believe me, but it's true. I say, top producers send us addresses before they even go on the listing appointments to help them land listings and show their clients that they have amazing resources. Top producers like this one in front of you right now just throws us addresses all the time, and it's our job to help her with that situation. And we love doing it, and it adds value to her business, and she is absolutely crushing it. If I didn't clarify, Lauren is a partner in this business. She's a partner in an office, and it's largely because she's amazing, but partially because she's a fantastically well-producing realtor using those resources to the best of her ability. And that's a fantastic example of that.
One thing I want to point out on that is the example that she gave was mostly in people in distress. But since then, we've been seeing more and more people who are just looking for a more convenient option. And I know that that seems like it's hard to believe. You walk in and you figure that Mr. and Mrs. homeowner are going to want top dollar 100% of the time. But that's only because you're not talking to them about any other options. As soon as we see agents starting to talk to them about more options and more directions, we're seeing by the thousands, literally, sellers moving in that direction and saying, what would that look like? Imagine if you walk into a listing appointment and you find out that this homeowner is actually interviewing 2 other agents. And you sit down and you go over your whole spiel, you talk to them about the neighborhood and talk to them about your career and your pricing and your ability and all of this. And you say, oh, by the way, I have an offer for you. I mean, your house is worth $1 million based on everything we talked about, and I got an offer for you for $950. I'm not suggesting that you take this. We're just going to put this on the back burner here. But I just wanted you to know that I've already spoken with my real estate investment network, and they've got you an offer for $950. We might actually even be able to do better than that if we can send it out to all the investors. This was their initial assessment, but if you're interested, we could go that route. Now you don't want to go, okay, I understand. Let's get top dollar. Let's put it on the MLS. Let's do everything we can. Or if you are interested in that, we can talk about that. We can look at what that looks like. I'll tell you what, 100% of the time, it's now been 7 years. I've been doing this 30, but 7 years we've been offering that service. 100% of the time, agents have landed the listing. Because the homeowner says, wait, you've already got me an offer? Do you think any of those other agents are going to come in with an offer in hand? Even if that offer isn't perfect, you've gone out of your way to do something for them that no one else will do. Not to mention, let's say you're sitting on the market for 3, 4, 5 months, and you need a price reduction. Call us. Say, hey guys, can I get an offer? Property's listed for $1 million, just whatever your offer. Whatever you feel is a reasonable offer that you can actually close at. We'll say, yes, absolutely. We'll send you an offer. Bring it to your client. Say, look, I got an offer for $850. I know it's low, but look, at least I got you something. Let's reduce the price down to $900 or whatever. Last one I'll tell you, don't ever let a house expire without presenting an offer. We can present an offer 100% of the time. Let us help you with that. Or you get one offer on a property and you want to be able to present multiple offers, call us. We'll send you an offer. How many times have you sent a single counter offer and wanted to send a multiple counter offer? We can get you an offer and it's real. We will actually close at that number. It could be 500 grand less than your other offer, but now you can reply with a multiple counter offer 100% of the time. Agents are utilizing these services to help them strengthen their business and offer their clients more options. I think that my last couple of slides are just details, just explains that, again, please understand, we are not investors. We run a network of investors. Our network is over 500,000 investors nationally. About half of those are here local or buy local in California. So you've got 250,000 investors. When you send us an address and you allow us to send it to your clients or our clients, you're gonna have thousands of people looking at it and multiple offers on that. Almost 100% of the time, depending on the situation. The last detail was, no one else has this. Is actually exclusive to only your office and Joey's office, which is Larchmont. So in LA County, this is exclusive to just these two offices. So you know you can present this and know that you can tell your clients no one else can offer them this. And the last detail was warm leads only. Please don't send us just a list of NODs. It has to be someone who's actually interested in selling their home. I can't tell you how many meetings I used to go to and people would just send us the NOD list and say, give us offers on all of those. Your client has to be actually interested and 100% off market. Most investors today will not buy on market properties. So they've got to be off market. I'm good for any questions that you might have. Sorry. No, that's what I said. It does not have to be a fixer. Not at all. It could be just a seller that's interested in a convenient offer and understands that their pricing is going to be a little bit less if they want a more convenient offer.
But you said but you said don't let your also be expired, your listing be expired.
Right.
For reduction, you can contact us and here's, you say no on MLS.
Well, according to the National Association of Realtors, now you don't have to put a property on the MLS, and more agents are not putting properties on the MLS for benefits that exist by not putting a property on the MLS.
I think our
Look,
association is different.
What's that?
Our associations are different. They require us to pay 24 hours.
I'm a California agent. They're not anymore.
This is also-
Two months ago, NAR put out a letter that said you do not have to. Your client just needs to sign a letter or sign an SELM stating they want the property off the MLS. You no longer have to put it on the MLS.
Yes, but you
Yeah,
have to
you can
send
check with
the
your office.
contract to MLS. They have to have it in the,
Well,
record.
talk with your management about that, because it's all
Okay,
the same.
so my question
association.
is, let's say the client wants, let's say, $1 million.
If I may finish
Oh, sorry.
answering her question, that's okay.
Sorry.
There are extenuating circumstances where a property may have been on the MLS for a while, and you know your client's willing to take a little bit less. You call us and you say, hey, it's listed for $1 million. I've talked to my client, they're willing to take 900. Can you show this to your investor? And we can do that depending on the situation. So I always say no on MLS, but for our agents within our network, if you need help, you say, Ryan, I just need an offer. We'll work on it for you. So what we're saying is send us a property before it goes on the MLS, but if it's been on the MLS for months and you just need help, we want to be there to help you. Okay? What's your question?
I'm sorry. Okay, so hypothetically, the buyer wants $1 million. And he's hoping to get that, knowing fully it may not be worth $1 million. How much typically do you guys come in below the client's expectation or some of their expectation?
Sure. So I'll rephrase that. How much do we lowball? Right? How low are the offers? Here's a great thing. When you're dealing with Open Door, you could say it's 25 to 30%. When you're dealing with Zillow, you could say it's 40%. When you're dealing with Seller's Advantage, you could say it's about 28 to 30% based on what we've seen, because they're one buyer. We are 250,000 buyers. How much do they offer? I've seen as low as 1% below fair market value. I've seen as low as 50% below fair market value. That's the beauty of having a giant network. That's why I built a giant network, so that I can send it out to them and say, guys, how much will you pay? And if they say 30% below fair market value, we say, thank you very much. The seller is looking for more. What will you pay? What will you pay? What will you pay? So I can't answer exactly, but I can tell you this. It's always going to depend on the condition of the property. If it's half burnt down, if it's in the Pacific Palisades, they're going to give you land value, right? But if it's needs a little bit of work, it needs like 100 grand worth of work, they're probably going to give you 150 grand below fair market value. It just depends. And that's the beauty of being able to have a large network to send it out to tons of people. And we take all the guessing away from you. All you have to do is go to investmentnetwork.tech. You can put in the property information and we will give you a value assessment right there and then. And let me clarify, this is also very important. That information cannot be shared with anyone. This is a KW site that is a proprietary website of KW, where we can't share that information with anyone. So if you send us an address, we're going to give you our in-house assessment. If your client's interested in that, you say to us, hey, I'd love for you to send this out to your investors. We will ask you to sign an authorization form allowing us to share it with our investors. Because obviously the last thing we want to do is share that information with our investors if you don't have your listing in tow, or if you don't have your contracts in place. So that's very important. So when people like Lauren send us addresses all the time, she's just getting our assessment of value. If she wants multiple offers, she just tells us, my clients love your number, they want to see multiple offers.
I sent one to you,
Yes,
and I got fair offer back. Yeah.
nice. And you got it back quickly.
Not the blue soda for more, but I got a roundabout part
That's
where it
wonderful.
should be.
Yeah. Which kind of helps you understand what our assessment's gonna be, what investors will say, so on and so forth. A lot of agents will just use us to kind of test the market.
It's a backup too.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Here's what's interesting, right? As a realtor, when you put together your CMA, when you tell your client what the value of their home is, every time you do that, and I do CMAs the same way, you're assessing value based on what's closed in the last 1, 2, 3, 4 months. What's closed in this area? So our number as realtors that we give our clients today is actually based on yesterday's pricing, right? Because unless something closed today on your CMA, but what we're giving you is actual real-time pricing of real buyers here and now that are looking at your property and a ton of details, because we provide them with a ton of information about the property, including our evaluation. If you provided us with any pictures or any information, we're going to get real offers from them. And that initial assessment, we close 99.9% of the time. The only reason why we wouldn't close our initial number is if you didn't provide us with very important information, like let's say it has a foundation issue and you didn't tell us that. The investor finds out there's a foundation issue, they have to ask for a reduction because that wasn't disclosed to them. But if you provide us with all the information that we're going to ask you for when you go to the website, we will give you an assessment and we will close at that number almost every time. Obviously, depending on the situation.
If somebody has an off market, we send address to you as your buyer agent, that works, or we have to own their listing?
So you're saying like he's got a listing and you want to send it to me. Well, first of all, if it's in your office, we can't commingle like that because I can't pay him and pay you. But if it's another agent outside your office, let's say it's a referral, what we're gonna do is we're gonna pay you 100% referral fee.
But you don't have to pay him, the seller gonna pay him. So
I have to pay him because I have a contract with him, just like I have a contract with you. He has to make 100% of the commission, which means I can't give any to you.
Good, you don't know him.
He works in this office. I have to give him 100%. You work in this office, somebody gives me your address, I'm gonna call you. Because that's the right thing to do. You're the listing agent.
If
But if
somebody
it's,
has another brokerage.
that's what I was gonna say. If it's a referral outside the office, let's say it's a Century 21 office, you know of a great deal, you send it to us, you're gonna get 100% referral fee, which, what does that mean? Generally, a referral is 25 to 30%. You're gonna get 100%. So if that seller is going to pay 3% commission, you will get that 3% commission. We have to represent our buyers. That's our deal with our buyers. But we do not charge any commission. So if we get the seller to pay 3% commission, it all goes to you.
So you act as your own buyer agent.
We have to represent the buyers. Yes.
Um,
We are representing the buyers 100% of the time, but we are not collecting any fees for that. If your seller is, or your seller is now only paying you, and trust, I've done this 30 years. So now as the business has changed, I have to look at it from a different perspective. Your seller agrees to pay you 3%. And you set up with them that they're going to pay the buyer's agent 3%. We write an offer and we'll ask you, do you want us to charge 3%? Or do you want to keep the entire 6%? If you say, Ryan, go ahead and charge 3%, what we'll do is a broker to broker referral agreement and we'll pay you that 3%.
Okay.
So we can do that, representing the buyer, we can charge that 3%, but we cannot keep any of your commissions. So we'll refer it right back to you in the transaction. You got a question, sir? Yeah. Well, I'm here. It just.
I do have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Why would we entertain things that are on there? What's the reason?
Why would we not pertain to?
Entertain.
Okay, so a couple of things. One, I want to just explain this detail for anybody who's still on Zoom or what have you. Essentially, the first agent to close a transaction with us will get a $10,000 bonus. That's what this is. But you have to fill out the form that's in the QR code in order to qualify. That tells us you've been to this meeting and you qualify. So you're not competing with everyone in the office, you're only competing with the people who filled out this form. So if you send us an address and we close that transaction together, you will get your commission, my commission, and a $10,000 bonus. Okay, and that's to the first agent that closes a transaction with us. So your question was, why not MLS? So, and y'all, if you've got to take off early, I get it. But I'd love to answer this question. I actually do a complete training on this, which I'll be offering in your office in the next couple of months. So there's a few reasons. First of all, I'll give you best example I can give you. Does anybody, if you've ever listed a property on Zillow, you know that as a homeowner, you can list a property on Zillow for whatever you want. I could go right now and I could put my house on Zillow for $100 million today. Guess what would happen? Actually, because Zillow algorithm is based on averages, it would change the average in the neighborhood. Every single home in the neighborhood, the value would go up. I guarantee it. I've seen it happen. I actually work with Zillow Tech. Zillow Tech built our website. It would increase the value of every home in the neighborhood. It wouldn't increase it by millions, but it would increase it by a small percentage. And over time, if that property was then listed as sold, it would increase it exponentially. In the same case, if I took my property, and let's say my average is $2 million in my neighborhood, I take my property, the house burnt down, and now it's just land value for $500,000. I put it on Zillow for $500,000. Guess what happens?
Nothing.
The value goes down. Now, we're not talking about real value, right? We're talking about Zestimates, which is a perceived value. It's not a real value. We know this because we're realtors and we get how it works. But do you think they all get how it works? They don't. How many times have you heard in your normal life people talk about being on Zillow, checking their value, looking for houses, whatever? They see it as a trusted resource. So now that home that should be worth $2 million is now worth, let's say, 1.85 or let's say 1.95. Say it's gone down $50,000 based on the perceived Zillow value. Well, when investors go now to look at that property and estimate the value of the property, their resale value just went from 2 million to 1.95. They lost $50,000. That's how almost all of them will consider it, because their final buyer is a consumer who cares about the value of his estimate. Perception in today's world is more important than reality. It's just a fact, and it happens across the board. It happens on Redfin, it happens on homes.com, on Trulia. Some of them will even change their values even greater than Zillow does. Zillow actually brought down their algorithm so it doesn't change as much by just one property, but it can. So when you as a realtor now put that land, that burned down home for $500,000 in a $2 million neighborhood on the MLS, and thanks to NAR, it resips to Zillow, that perceived value goes down across the neighborhood. And investors have gotten smart and they've said, you know what, we're just not going to play that game. Which in my opinion, realtors should have done a long time ago, because we work hard to get those listings. Zillow takes them from us and sells them and sells all that information, and it causes us harm. Obviously, I'm not the type of realtor that's a big fan of Zillow, based on everything that I've shown. But that's just one example. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, that's Zillow, but it's not necessary.
Right, your appraised value doesn't change. Your appraised value doesn't change. Your true value doesn't change. You're absolutely right. But the perception of consumers is so important to investors now, because they understand the way the consumers are searching is on Zillow.
So, but my question is, when I'm doing a CMA and I'm bringing the actual price to the client during the listing appointment, and I say, all right, here's an offer, that house is gonna go in the MLS regardless if they don't go with your offer, right? So
If they don't go with our offer, yes.
right. So then, what's the difference between it now and it being on the MLS? Let's say I listed it today, and then I come to you guys, I just listed it today, and I come to you guys, say, hey, can you give me an offer on this? Like, no, it's MLS.
Correct.
Why?
Why? Because you put it on the MLS, which puts it on Zillow, which adversely affects the value. Let me answer that another way, okay? You're obviously taking some listings. Hopefully you're all taking some listings. I have one question for you. When you go on a listing appointment, raise your hand if you check the Zestimate before you go on a listing appointment. You know what? I did this with your ALC. One of them raised their hands. Guess what? You should be checking the Zestimate 100% of the time. You know why? Because they are. And you walk in and they say, here's an example. You're going to put that property on the MLS for $2 million. It's going to reset to what you're going to put. Sorry, you're going to put it on the MLS for $500,000 because it's just dirt and our investors weren't interested or whatever. And now when someone goes to make an offer on that, and they think that they fix it, they flip it, they put it on the market for $2 million because that's the value. They go on to Zillow and they go, oh, 1.95. We're not offering you 2 million, we're only offering you 1.95. That's the problem right there. And investors have to care not about what makes sense for them, not what's awesome and great for them, but what is the consumer going to offer at the end of the day? The value may be $2 million. I'll tell you, we send properties out to investors every single day, hundreds of them every single day. We have investors come back to us and go, that's not the value. This is the value. And we go, this is actual colors, one that closed on the same street, 3 doors down, model match. Well, but Zillow says it's worth this. These are investors that close thousands of transactions. And we go, you know, that's not the value, but that's not what consumers are seeing. Consumers are seeing 1.9, and they will argue with their realtor. Realtor says 2 million, offer 2 million, you'll get it. It's a great number. The consumer says, but Zillow says 1.95. Why would I offer that? You've been doing this 30 years, you closed 10,000 transactions. You don't know more than Zillow. Zillow says 1.95. I want to offer 1.95, and you don't get the deal done. Or the investor ends up selling it for 1.95. They just lost 50 grand because you put it on the MLS on day one. All I'm suggesting is that let us try and hit that number that your client wants. Doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if we can hit that number, your client can get more. Every day, we also have realtors come back to us after running through our program and say, can you still get me that offer? Now it's on the MLS. Unfortunately, I cannot. If you want us to see what we can do for you, we will. But I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot less. Because now we've got to cover the difference of what the worst case scenario is for investors. This is obviously all very nuanced, but an excellent question. And again, that the Zillow value algorithm average is just one reason why they won't go to the MLS. Another great reason, I'll make this one quick, is how many investors do you think are in the marketplace now versus just 5 years ago? It's like 1,000% more. How many of them do you think can actually buy? How many of them do you think are not complete BS? You know, if you go on Facebook right now and you search for Real Estate Investment Group Los Angeles, you will find thousands of them. And then I'm going to ask the young guys, right? You're probably not on Facebook, but if you're in any of those online groups, there are thousands of them, and thousands of them that teach how to wholesale properties with no money, how to buy a property with no money, how to close a property and make a check. And they show pictures of $50,000 check that they got because they put a property in contract that they didn't have the money to buy, and they found somebody else, or they tried to find somebody else, or it didn't work and it fell apart and they upset the whole system. When you and I are just trying to do real honest business, investors don't want to deal with that. When you put a property on the MLS, if it's a $500,000 piece of land in a $2 million neighborhood, you're going to get tons of offers from those guys who aren't really actually trying to buy. They're just trying to lock it up in paper, and they don't want to compete with that. Because that guy's going to say, oh, I'll give you 10 times more. And they got to compete with that. That guy's never going to close it anyways. It happens every day, and it is a terrible thing. By the way, if only any of you don't know, if any of you are doing wholesaling, the NAR, yeah, and National Association of Realtors deemed wholesaling illegal in 1993. It's called straw buying. You've been in the business that long, it's called straw buying. Wholesaling is not legal. If you're doing wholesaling, talk to your broker. If you know anybody who's doing wholesaling, talk to your broker. There are ways to do it correctly, but the way most people are doing it is not legal because they're making offers on properties they have no intention of buying. They're just trying to now sell that paper, which we can help you with those details. We deal with it day in and day out. But that's just another example. So they're saying, like, I don't want to deal with the riffraff in the market. Just give me your off-market seller direct deal that I know I'm dealing with you and you know you're dealing with a realtor that's real and honest, or I just don't want to deal with it. Because they've lost millions competing with people who are not real. And we can help you compete on a much higher level that, let's face it, I would not be here standing in front of you fully vetted by KW if I was not on the up and up with everything I do. Everything I do has got to be above board. Everything we do is on car forms. Everything is disclosed 100% of the time. If me or my team gets a little bit itchy about the way something's going, we say, I'm sorry, I don't know that person. They're not qualified or whatever. We actually vet our clients daily. We're dialed into 17 banking networks and we can check their funds on the spot. Because we have a banking license. So it's not like you, where you just say, send me proof of funds, and it's a piece of paper, and you don't know what it is. We actually have to verify funds with all of our investors. We know what we're dealing with, and we can promise you that every time you work with us, it's gonna be a good and honest experience. Yes, ma'am.
So you have hundreds of investors that they are working with you.
Yes.
So when I send you the property, you are the buyer, or you sense that your investor, maybe you get 20 offers from them.
Yeah.
You're gonna represent all 20 to me, or you're gonna pick the top one and send the top one?
It's actually a really good question, and a lot of people ask this question, so don't worry. I get it. So step one, you go to our website, investmentnetwork.tech, great info on there. The video you watched is on there. At the top of the screen, there's a button that says get a cash offer now. You can click on that. You'll fill out the information. You'll add in whatever info you can about the property. If you've got pictures, if you know details, if you know what the comps are, if you know the ARV after renovation value. We'll ask you a ton of questions because we care very much about the process. We'll ask you what's going on with the seller. We'll try and help you through the process. When you fill out all that information, we receive it, and within 24 to 48 hours, we will get back to you with a complete assessment. That means we're gonna look at all this information, we're gonna come back to you and we're gonna say, we agree with you, the ARV is $1 million. Based on that, we believe the value is $900,000 or whatever it is. If you believe that your client is interested in entertaining an offer at this price, let us know. Please go back and talk to your client. If they're interested, you come back to us and you say, Ryan, they're interested. What do we do now? Say, great, let's send out, our database says there are 20,201 investors that are interested. This is their criteria. We have to sign an authorization allowing us to share that information. I'm gonna stop there for a second. We're gonna ask you, do you have a listing contract? If you don't have a listing contract and you're insisting that we send it out to our investors, we're gonna say, I suggest we don't do that. If you insist, honestly, I'm probably gonna call Stephanie and say, Stephanie, we're really not comfortable with this. We actually have agents ask us to do that all the time. Here's why. Although every one of our investors has a contract that says they cannot go knock on that door, I don't control them and I don't ever want that to happen. So I want to make sure you're safe and secure. You could have a single party, you could have an RLA, you could have a specific contract that says they're going to pay you a commission. There are contracts like that. But we want to make sure that you're safe and sound. You say yes, we say, okay, give us generally 7 to 10 days. We'll market it to our investors. We will get multiple offers and we will present you with multiple LOIs, letters of intent, which will break down exactly what they're offering. And you'll say to me one of two things, Ryan, either get me offers from all of them or get me offers from the top 2 or whatever you want. You probably don't want to present 76 offers. You might say, Ryan, what do you think about this? What do you think is the best buyer? So on and so forth. 99% of the time, they're going to be 100% non-contingent, depending on how much information you've given us. If they have no pictures and no information, they're probably going to want to walk the property. But almost every time they're making offers based on the information you and I have provided them. And then your client makes a decision and we proceed with a standard transaction. You represent the seller, I represent the buyer, standard deal. We want to use your in-house services. You guys have an in-house escrow?
Yes.
We want to use your in-house services because Stephanie brought me in. I want to pay back Stephanie, and that's a great way to do it. If she's got a preferred title, we want to use that person as well. We obviously cannot make you, but we will always request it. And we'll run a standard transaction. Never ask me, how quickly can my clients close? Because I will always ask you, how quickly does your client want to close? Stop giving up control to the buyer. Take control. You know you've got thousands of buyers going to look at this. You can tell us exactly what you want. You want to close in 15 days, give them an additional 30 days after the close of escrow to vacate the property, use these services and get it done. And that's what we'll present to our investors. Thank you all so much. I'll hang out if you've got any other questions. But thank you. Make sure you scan that and fill that out. And I'll be around if you need anything.
And you have your
Thank you.
business card?
Yes. Yes.